Alright, and welcome back to Pillars of Eternity. We are now on episode 4. We just made it to the Gilded Veil. We haven't gone in anywhere but the beginning on when we first arrived. So, we're gonna explore this and see how long that allows us to explore the area before the end of the episode, see how much we can get done. And I hope you enjoy.
Sure.
Alright, look at this tree. Wow, reminds me of the one in The Witcher. Witcher 3.
You must be one of the new settlers. Welcome to Gilded Vale. You'll be pleased to know that we've had some recent vacancies here.
He glances at the gnarled, leafless monstrosity of a tree next to him. Do you welcome everyone this way? The only answer you hear is the buzzing of flies from the tree.
Of course, we'll need to make some inquiries first. The inestimable Lord Radric VII has taken great pains to insulate our town from Widewind's legacy. Have you ever sired a Hollowborn child?
What is a Hollowborn? What are you talking about?
An infant born without a soul, of course. Lord Raderick has made it his first priority to eliminate this scourge from our village. I should warn you, stranger. Here in Gilded Vale, we have a special place for dissidents, charlatans, and those who would hide a curse in our midst.
He steps to the side and inclines his head ever so slightly toward the deformed tree.
His lordship's wife is with child and due any day now. Without his approval, I shan't be able to find you a permanent settlement. It will have to wait until after the birth. We can continue our interview then, after the bell tolls from Radric's hold to signal my lord's new heir. In the meantime, you can find temporary accommodations at the inn just southwest of here.
I don't know if I want to mention this one because it seems like they're very paranoid. I think I'll inquire more about this. I mean, if I mention this one here or this one, we may be an easy target. You said something about Hollowborn in Widewind's legacy before. Tell me about that. He blinks. I forget that you foreigners do not have this curse in your homeland. The Hollowborn have been a scourge upon Direwood for almost 15 years now. He lowers his voice to a whisper. Children born without souls. He shakes his head. Pitiful, dumb things that breathe, barely, but do not truly live. Some say the Hollowborn are a disease. Some say they are a punishment from the gods. He raises his empty hands. In truth, no one knows, but as they began spreading after the Saints' War, and so the name, Widewind's legacy, stuck in honor of that foul, blasphemous pretender. His voice shakes with vitriol. I see. Lord Rhetoric's decree may seem strict at times, but he has our best interest at heart, he nods. Yeah, that really shows it from what that tree looks like with all those bodies. If you have any other questions, don't hesitate to ask. It's important that everybody in Gilded Vale understands our rules. Alright, well it's making me say one of these, so I may as well mention it then. I've been feeling strange ever since a close call with the Bywak. Is there someone in town who could help?
Whatever your problem, it sounds like a matter for an animancer. However, the only animancer in Gilded Vale isn't in any condition to speak. Consider yourself fortunate. After she failed Lord Radric, we saw to it that she wouldn't profit from the misplaced trust of others. A bad cure is often worse than none at all. But if you're set on finding a bottle of troll piss or a dead Audra pebble to rub on your forehead, you're welcome to check her pockets. A little corpse stink is nothing when you're digging for shit. My advice, however, is to be satisfied that you escaped and leave it at that.
Before I got here, I saw several people conducting a strange ceremony near some ruins. He regards you carefully. You'll want to mind where you mention that. Trespassing on Engwithin ruins is illegal, not to mention dangerous. You probably saw someone attempting some new ritual to appease the gods. People will try anything these days. Barath have mercy. We certainly have. I don't think so. Just as they finished, there was a Bywak. He polishes his spectacles on his sleeve. If you'd been that close to a Bywak, you wouldn't be standing here. Alright then. Goodbye.
Keep out of...
Listen!
2 tolls. Let that be the last.
3. Gods have mercy.
It seems your arrival is ill-timed. 3 bells toll only for the death of a Radric. I fear Lord Radric's heir is lost, or else Hollowborn, and so lost all the same. You should tread carefully. Circumstances have changed a great deal.
What happened? He shrugged one bony shoulder. I will know more details when the messengers arrive. The vagaries of childbirth, perhaps. But that is not your concern. What do you mean? You come to us at a time of mourning. The legacy is struck at the heart of Gilded Vale. Our efforts to redeem ourselves in the eyes of Barath must be redoubled. He sets a steady gaze on you. Don't threaten me. He shakes his head unmoved. It is no threat, only a warning. Lord Rhetoric will tolerate no threats to his kin, or those who live upon his lands. Grief will not make him more docile. Does this affect the Lord's offer to new settlers? I can be sure of nothing right now. I advise you to get some rest. The inn, or a stable for all I care. Find me afterwards. I will know more soon enough. Okay. Well, farewell.
Yeah?
Move along. What if it's not a baby? Maybe Kolchak managed to... Hush, are you mad? Leave it for indoors. I heard they fenced off another attack on Lord Rhetoric's keep. Been thinking about joining family over in Dryford. They have it far better than us. You think the rains would be a boon for the crops? As you near, you feel a vibrant history contained in the essence of this man's soul. Voices from its past seem to call to you. Reach out for this soul. You see a pennant waving tall and sluggish in the wind, a rising sun embroidered on the banner, the vanguard of a small troop of paladins. The atmosphere is buoyant, if restrained, and their armor has not yet been tarnished by the elements. This expedition is fresh, young, filled with zest and zeal. At their head stands a commander, awkward in full armor, but determined in step. Despite the excitement of his fellow, he does not smile. There's a twist in his mouth, his countenance grim. He throws up a hand, halting his troop. Silence falls among them, revealing a dark thunder, deep and low. He orders them to ready their weapons and spread out. Eyes dart from horizon to horizon, neck twisting to see the source of the sound. In the distance, dust and lightning rise from the ground as Stygian clouds race towards them overhead. The soldiers stand, only the sacro movement of their breath betraying their nerves. The commander closes his eyes, calling a blessing down on his troop. Invigorated, invincible, they wait as the enemy draws closer, poised to attack. Alright, I gotta find this inn. And I don't think that's it. I think that just leads up to the tree. Yeah, seems like it. People over here. Things are bound to get worse now. Don't be stupid, they can't possibly get any worse. The Black Hound Inn is a fine place to sit and have a smoke. You used to have a lot more fortune tellers come through. Lord Ragorich had us chase them off. You see 4 people gathered by the door at the inn. Their raised voices and chopping gestures suggest an argument reaching its climax. The first figure raises his hand for calm. His face is partially obscured by a hood, but his height and stature suggest an elf.
I meant no offense. Let's put this matter to rest over a round, shall we? My treat.
Hoping to soothe our pride with a few Adira coppers, eh? We don't need your coin.
What's going on? One of the other men points at the hooded elf. His eyes are red from drink, but his gaze is focused. Mocking us even while he shelters in our village. Just goes to show you what these fancy Eider manners are worth. We don't take to that kind of treatment. Not from foreigners, and especially not from Idrins.
Go on. Say it again. I'm itching for an excuse.
The second man thrust his chin at the elf. He stinks of sour ale.
Fie, you're itching for the kindling touch of your sister, you cocksfeather!
I'll cut that barrel-licking tongue out of your head.
A collective cry of outrage rises from the three locals. The second man snarls.
This is a misunderstanding. I didn't say whatever it is you think I said. We've nigh quarrel.
That's where you're wrong.
I don't think attacking him is such a good idea. The three drunks scowl at you. And why is that? I think I'll do perception. He's reaching for something and since it's not a rapier at his side, it's either a wand or a throwing dagger, and you don't look ready to deal with either. They look at each other. One of the men gives the other two a warning shake of his head before turning to you. We're done for now. But this one better watch his step around here because we're not going anywhere. With a final scowl at the elf, he turns to leave. Alright, at least we avoided that disaster. As the three stumble away, the elf turns to you, the tension almost gone from his smooth face.
Not quite how I hoped to get to know the neighbors. Thank you for your timely assistance with that awkward situation.
I'm glad I could help.
Courtesy is a rare pleasure in these parts. Though your accent suggests that you are no more local than I.
No, I'm not. I'm not a local. He straightens his hood, and you note the remains of the fraying embroidery on the gloves. His boots are caked with the dirt of many miles traveled, but the leatherwork beneath it is sturdy and fine.
I suppose introductions are in order after that little fiasco. Aloth Corvisor, at your service.
Aloth, tell me about yourself.
I'm a wizard by training, and an adventurer by necessity. I was born in the Seathwood, part of the mainland of the Adir Empire, and both of my parents served the nobility, which afforded me an education for which I am grateful. However, there were no open positions in those houses, and so I decided to seek new means in a new land. And how exactly did you come to be here?
I was traveling with the caravan, but we were separated near some ruins.
In Gwithan Ruins? Oh, those can be dangerous places during the best of times, which these are not. In half the locals would arrest you for trespassing, and the rest would kill you outright. I'm curious, what exactly did you find there?
Several hooded figures operating a strange machine. Aloth goggles at you silently. Apparently assessing your earnestness, finally he gives you a clipped, awkward laugh.
You do manage to find yourself in rather interesting predicaments.
What are you doing in the Gilded Vale?
An excellent question. I came looking for fresh air and cheap land. Instead, the magistrate gave me directions to the inn and a story about the local lord's expectant wife. But I take it that's a familiar tale.
And you? I've been experienced trading things of late. I'm looking for an expert on souls.
Indeed. The local lord has searched far and wide for similar specialists. He has rid himself of them almost as desperately.
He nods at the gnarled old tree in the center of town. His darting glance takes in the tumble-down buildings and the fallow, rock-strewn fields. I expect that such expertise would be best sought elsewhere. Just how did you manage to cross those three drunks?
I'm afraid that was a matter of misunderstandings and mistranslations. It doesn't help that people in these parts remember their war with Adir like it was yesterday.
You did tell that one man to go fuck his sister. Ah, that. He clears his throat and adjusts his sleeves. As I tried to tell them, they misheard me. Happens all too easily after a few pints, and the accent doesn't help. I heard the same thing. For just a moment, he looks as if he's about to say something else. His expression brightens with mischief. But before he could speak, he forces a tight smile, biting his lips so hard you could expect to see blood. Finally, his face relaxes, and he shakes his head. I should speak more clearly next time. My apologies. Aloth, you don't exactly look like a settler to me.
Begging your pardon, but neither do you. Yet, circumstances can find a person in the strangest of places.
That is true. And on that note, I should get going.
As should I, given recent events. It's just as well. I've had enough of the watered wine and lumpy beds at the inn. They say even the owner tired of the place. Just up and left one day. It explains quite a lot about the upkeep. Perhaps I could join you. I could use a change of scenery, and I find it's better to travel in numbers.
So do I. So do I. Let's go then.
Excellent. I shall follow you.
Unfortunately for him, I'm going to the inn, where he just said he's tired of lumpy pillows and everything. Thought this place was going under after the owner left, but it held out. Anyone seen Pearly around? He's usually drinking his head off this hour of the day. Ooh, Pearly died.
Huh? Huh?
Yeah, he died a while ago. Pasta. Oh, that's the person that dwarf told me to speak to.
Gods keep you.
Hello and welcome to the innkeeper looks up. Oh, it's you. Tenfifth told us what you did for him. Such a relief to have him back. I can't thank you enough. Consider yourself a favorite of the house. Discounts on drinks, rooms. Tenfifth said he wanted to whip you up something nice for you. He's already back to work in the kitchen, she laughed. So what would you like? I'd like a room, please. Certainly, you're always welcome. So let's see, Labor's Rest. 83 copper pieces last for 2 rest, 1 perception plus 1 mechanic. Drywood's Pride. 113 copper pieces. Last for 2 rest, 2 resolves. The common room, which equals nothing. And I don't get any bonus or anything. But what does this tip say? Inns allow characters to rest without using camping supplies. Cheap rooms are usually available, but if you have copper to spend, you may consider the more expensive option. The bonuses they provide last a long time and affect the entire party. So I have 280. I don't really want to spend 113 yet, because that's quite a lot. And, I mean, if I'm coming back here and I have more, then maybe I can next time. I'll get this one, the 83 copper piece one. Rest and laborers rest for 83 copper? Yes, I will rest. Your sleep is restless and fevered, assaulted by hisses and whispers, blanketed with a suffocating anxiety. You open your eyes to awaken and find yourself in front of the gilded veil's gallows tree, the creaking of its rope growing louder in your mind until the sound is deafening. Hanging from the tree is an old dwarf woman, whose face has shriveled inward like molding fruit. Her head hangs limply to one side. As you look at her, she looms larger and larger in your mind until she is mere inches from your face. Suddenly her head snaps up and her eyes open, and they are empty, and behind them is a vast nothingness that makes your stomach drop. Her mouth slowly parts in a gust of rancid air. She speaks a word. Watcher. You jolt awake in the foul smell of the dwarf woman's breath still permeating your nostrils. Sweat runs down your face and the thick droplets, and your skin is soaked from head to toe. You remember the woman. You remember seeing her decaying face when you spoke with the magistrate. He called her an animancer. Though it filled you with new, queasy apprehension, you feel strange compulsion to see this woman once more, if only to confirm she's truly dead. So the party gained 464 experience. So, I'm gonna talk to the pastor again.
Gods keep you.
I could use some reliable help. Do you know of anyone looking for work? Oh. Well, I wouldn't say I can speak from experience, but we do have certain sorts coming by looking for work from time to time. If you hire someone on, I'd be happy to send them. If you want to hire someone on, I'd be happy to send them your way. Let me see what I have to work with. Maybe later. Yeah, let me see what I have to work with. Yeah. Okay. I just have this, but I don't have enough money. So I can't hire anyone right now.
Good day to you.
Good day. I'd like to know more about the Black Hound. Really? Well, let me see. The actual building's been here for years, but the Black Hound's fairly new. We get a lot new faces in here too. Fewer than we used to, I'll admit. 10 feet's a big draw. I'm sure we'll get the crowds back again in no time. I used to work the tables actually until the old owner upped and left. Nobody's sure what happened to him. Even left the poor hound behind. That's the name. See? The Black Hound? It's still sitting upstairs pining after him. Poor old girl. Place ended up in my hand somehow, she laughed. My very own inn. A lot of hard work involved, but it's been worth it so far. Please sit where you'd like. Would you like a drink or a room? We have 2 available at the moment. I'm afraid I can't offer much in the way of a good meal today, she said. Unless you're fond of cold porridge. Well, thank you. Oh, let me see what she has for sale. Maybe I could get some money for for help. And then go back to that cave and try and kill that bear. Sure you'll find something that you like, and we have the finest cook in the Direwood. So let's see. They have camping supplies and stuff. stores allow you to trade and sell your items for copper pieces, or items in the store's inventory. Merchants buy items from you at greatly reduced price. If you sell something, you may see it appear in the store's inventory with much higher cost. Stores periodically refresh their inventories. Alright. Alright, I'm gonna sell one hunting bow. That's going for 10 copper pieces. Let's sell a small shield. And a dagger. A crossbow. I will sell. Maybe I could give this to my helper. Alright, I'm just gonna get rid of a bunch of this stuff. I mean, it's all pretty much the same. Keep one of each. Ooh, nice. I have 310 copper pieces coming in. I will keep the helm. I'll sell wolf hide. The wolves of the dry wood are a large and crafty breed. Spirit of the species usually shyness, and they present a serious hazard to travelers who venture off the beaten path. Hunters who seek them out will not usually contend with a single wolf, for they travel in packs varying size, presenting a challenge to any lone hunter. Their furry hides are of value for the warmth and can provide in the teeth of the strongest wolves made for impressive trophies. Alright, I think I will actually keep those because I may be able to make something with them. So what I will do is trade. Now I have 507 copper pieces. Nice. I don't want to recruit adventurers right now. But I will go into my inventory. And take this weapon out. Take this bow. That there. And that can be my... Take this sword and fit this here. Alright, yeah, that looks good. It's Tenfirth. Let's talk to him. Ah, it's you, my savior. He makes a sweeping gesture to indicate the kitchen around you. It's so good to be back. Do not think I will let this go unrewarded. I have decided that you have earned the right to learn one of my most closely guarded secrets, my dearest recipe. After this, you will eat nothing else. So I gained the recipe savory pie. A savory pie to keep you hale and hearty. May it serve you well in your travels. Or a land server. Beg pardon, sir. Don't have much time for talking. Anyone seen Pearly around? He's usually drinking his head off this hour of the day. Careful if you head east. Guards patrol the eastern wood, but not the black meadow. Nice and dry in here. Alright. Did you hear the bells? Bad news, I think. Some of it's like repeat dialogue. Thought this place was going under after the owner left, but it held out. And who are you then? Another fool come to answer Radric's invitation? Our great lord had my sister run out of town after the buoy was born. She was the only family I had left. Not sure where she is now. Blazes, I need another drink. As you near, you feel a vibrant history contained in the essence of the woman's soul. Voices from its past seem to call to you. You see a woman emptying her satchel onto her bed, taking stock of her inventory. Potions, bandages, tinctures, and herbs are scattered throughout her room. Haphazardly, she bites her lip, head tilted to the side. Considering, she begins to repack one item after the other. Careful deliberation, undercut by shaking hands. Each item has a clearly marked place, but no matter how she repacks it, she isn't satisfied. The shaking worsens as she empties it out once more, one hand held to her mouth. Tears eke from her eyes as she gives up all semblance of order and shoves everything she can in the satchel, grabbing it and running out of the bare house. Straining her back, she walked to the docks, chin high, eyes hard and red. A gangly young elf offers his condolences, but she can't see him for the ocean ahead of her. She wanders the docks, offering her services as a doctor to anyone who will listen, anyone heading out to the high tide. Less than an hour later, she watches her childhood disappear in the distance, a tiny speck of an island, and tries not to jump. As you near, you feel a vibrant history contained in the essence of this man's soul. Voices from the past seem to call out to you. You see a group of young men standing around a makeshift practice target. This man stands in the middle of them, explaining the construction and use of a bow. He holds it up, pointing out each part as he speaks about it, what it does. He then walks away from the target, telling them to remain where they are, and takes his place about 200 feet away. He carefully lines up his shot, explaining what he is doing as he does, and lets the arrow fly. It hits its target dead center, much to the surprise and delight of the boys near it. He smiles, walking towards the boys, talking about proper stance and to most effectively hold a bow. A noise comes from the tree line near the practice venue, and he stops, scanning the woods, blue eyes squinting against the sun. A shadow moves, making its way through the forest behind them. He draws an arrow and lines up his shot, carefully tracking the motion of the hitting creature. Loosing the arrow, he wastes no time and quickly grabs another. The boys spin, watching the arrow fly into the forest, immediately lost among the trees. There's a sudden explosive movement in the undergrowth as a deer erupts from the tree line, running across the edge of the clearing. The boys laugh, turning to joke with the man about his lousy shot. They stop talking, seeing him hold the bow and leading the deer with a nocked arrow. They drop to the ground as he looses his last arrow, which flies true and strikes the deer right behind its shoulder, piercing heart and lungs and dropping it dead almost immediately. The boys stare at the deer for a few seconds, then slowly turn to look at the man, newfound respect in their eyes. He smiles again and breathes a quiet sigh of relief. Yeah, he does look like an archer. We'll go upstairs. What's that story you told again with the tall fellow and the wee lass? You mean the Amuna captain and the Orlean cabin boy? What? No, not. Well, hold on. Tell us that one first. Yes, tell us. Grab a drink, friend. Not much else of worth in this town, says the woman from Tenon. Then, hey, we said we wouldn't mention then. Alright, so it looks like they all might... Yeah, doesn't matter who I speak to, it's all the same dialogue. Alright, another soul to read. You see a man soar through the air, hitting a nearby wall with a nauseating crunch. He doesn't get up. His attacker, a burly, clean-cut warrior with a carnivorous grin, turns up and shoves his fist into the stomach of another assailant, removing another from the impromptu brawl. The bar is a whirlwind of elbows, knees, fists, and feet with no end in sight. He is in his element. In the corner, three smaller men speak quietly, throwing malicious glances at the larger man in the center. He breaks a chair over a tattooed head, cackling. The trio position themselves in three parts of the room, and with a terse nod they charge. Unfortunately for them, the man sees them coming. Something in his eyes burns brightly, and all three slump to the ground in agony. That's all in their minds. The burly man bows to a room of the unconscious and incapacitated before sauntering out, off-key whistle trailing behind him. You see an emancipated boy in his chains, black holes for eyes, staring sightlessly at a wall. A man in dark coat walks in, a scroll and an oddly shaped quill in his hand. The boy glances at him expressionless, a corpse waiting for animation. The man clucks at him, disapproval clear in his tone. The boy stands limbs, hanging. The man takes the quill and begins to write on the boy's chest, copying sharp, angular symbols from the scroll. The child doesn't flinch as the quill digs into the skin, drawing blood as it goes. The wizard finishes with a flourish and barks some arcane command, setting the symbols to glow dully. The boy cries out, knees hitting the stone hard, his chest burning black and red. Finally the glow disappears, leaving only a hard, black scars etched into his skin. He slumps sideways, retwitching, eyes facing the back of his skull. The wizard grunts, kicking him on the leg on his way out. The boy lies on the floor until dawn, eyes still black like holes, and twitches, growing into convulsive shakes. Wow, that was a little dark. You see a long, empty road cutting through two large crop fields. The air is silent and the land seems too dark, too still for early afternoon. This woman walks slowly on the road, leading a horse. Curiously looking around, she seems to sense something wrong, but is unable to discern what it is. She stops sniffing at the air, her nose high, Her brow crinkles and she casts about, looking for something. The air is clear, no clouds. She sniffs again, still looking around, confusion clouding her face, mouthing a single word. Fire? She looks out across the field, her confusion turning to fear. She holds her hand up to block the sun from her eyes and scans the field again, not finding what she was looking for. She jumps onto her horse's back, the fear quickly becoming panic. She kicks, sending the horse shooting down the path, which bends around some trees to where the farmhouse should be. She pulls up short, horror now in residence on her face, as she stands at the burned and charred mess that used to be her family's home. Tears well in her eyes as she kicks again, racing to the rubble. What's this over here? These bones are covered in tiny bite marks. Oh, it's the dog. The black hound. The hound stares intently at the covered window, head cocked as if waiting to hear a particular sound. It looks up when you approach and whines a low note, tail wagging slightly. I'm gonna pet her. The dog tail thumps happily against the floorboards. Sorry, girl. Don't think he's coming back. The hound whines softly again, head tilting. Well, you can come with me. Maybe we'll find him on the way. The dog's ear perks up. It trots over to you and barks happily. So I guess the hound is coming with me now. So let's see. Black Hound. This small dog has a glossy black coat and is affable disposition. He trots along at your heels, gazing up devotedly whenever you come to a stop. You know what? I will have 2 dog followers. There we go. Let's see what's over here. Anything locked? Yeah, that's locked. I'm not gonna try and have to lockpick now. Maybe I will later. Table. I'll take some lockpicks. Direwood, Part 1, Early Colonial History. So I'll take that book and read it in a little bit. And there's someone standing right there. Please leave me be. I am full to sickness with what I have seen of this place and its people. Alright. Didn't want to see you either. See where this door goes. Alright, looks like I left the back of the inn. What I'll do is I'll just head back inside. And go out through the front. I do really enjoy the graphics and everything in this game. It's going awesome. Oh, nice. I didn't notice that before. The sun coming in through the window. That's pretty cool. I'll go see what our cook friend has going on. I will name a dish in your honor. Alright, you do that. And perhaps a fine dessert. Both would be awesome. Alright guys, on that note, we're gonna call it an episode and leave the inn on the next episode since we got the rest we need, talked to many people. And we saved our companion Alof from harm. On that note, thank you for joining me and hope you've enjoyed so far. Until the next one.